In this Star Wars Gaming news update video, I will be sharing with you some very exciting news. A type of Star Wars game that many fans have been asking for quite some time has just been leaked. Before we do get into all of the details though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on it, or any upcoming Star Wars games for that matter. So, for the better part of 2 decades, fans have loved Empire at War, the real-time strategy game. It has had so much love poured into it by the developers, even as recent as last year receiving a major update. It is still played by so many people, it has a vibrant community and modding scene, and it just keeps on going. But fans would still like a more modern day RTS, and that appears to have just been leaked. In a new report from DualShockers, they detail what's going on at Creative Assembly. This is a UK-based studio known for the Total War series. They are considered a great developer, and Sega had them make a first-person shooter live service game called Hyenas, which was cancelled shortly before it was officially due to be released. The FPS genre was a big sidestep from what they know and are good at with Total War, and according to DualShockers, the studio currently have 3 new Total War games in development, and the second one is a Star Wars Total War game. That's right, they state that one of the 3 games is an officially licensed Star Wars game, and that the Total War series is going to be going down the Star Wars route in the near future. As of October 2023, so just over 6 months ago, Total War Star Wars was reportedly the second of 3 new Total War games in the works at Creative Assembly. Typically, Total War games release annually, aside from 2021, which was the first year without a mainline Total War game since 2014, so in the past decade. It's possible that Creative Assembly are gearing up to release Total War Star Wars in the next couple of years. But with 3 games reportedly in the works, there is no way to know which is the furthest along in development. Now, you might be thinking, this is just one outlet saying something, are they really credible? They're not like a usual leaker for this sort of stuff. Well, I can give you some extra confidence in that this game is happening. So Insider Gaming, that we've known for quite some time now, that have been very good at reporting all kinds of stuff in games, whether it be cancellations, delays, unreleased games that will be announced, including various Star Wars stuff. They specifically say that they first got wind of a futuristic Total War game in late 2022, with several other second-hand sources reaching out stating that the game is based in the Star Wars universe. So Insider Gaming say that this part of DualShockers' report is very likely real. On top of that, the extremely reliable Star Wars leaker known as Bespin Bulletin also corroborated this information by saying that they had heard Creative Assembly were making a Star Wars game as far back as November last year. They have been spot on with their previous leaks when it comes to Star Wars games, films and shows, so no doubt here. And perhaps at Summer Games Fest next month we could see this game revealed. That would be very cool indeed. If it's not at Summer Games Fest, perhaps it could be at, say, the PlayStation Showcase, the Xbox Game Showcase, any one of these showcases that may pop up over the next month or so. There is no Star Wars Celebration happening this year, so it won't be that unless it is revealed next April. But if the game, say, comes out at the end of next year or early 2026, then that could potentially be a late reveal, depending who you ask. There is always Gamescom as an option, and the Game Awards at the end of the year. So Insider Gaming say late 2022. This could be when the game had recently been signed off to happen, or in early pre-production. If this is the case, then the game has been in the works for over a year and a half now. Andy Robinson of VGC, who has a decent track record at leaking things and stuff like that, did say all the way back on May 4th last year that he had heard of a Star Wars real-time strategy game being made at a well-known developer. A game like this would typically have a shorter development cycle compared to, say, Star Wars Outlaws, which got started in 2020 and is out this year. Even Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor took 3 to 5 years to make. But I do think there's a good chance we could see this strategy game from Creative Assembly earlier than you may typically think compared to other games. Now, the biggest question people will probably be asking is, what era is this game set in? Obviously, at this moment in time, we have no idea, but it does feel like the Clone Wars would make the most sense. Empire at War is, of course, in the original trilogy, but I personally would love to see a game that explores all three eras. That would be really cool. As someone that likes all three eras, we get a bunch of the prequel era stuff, the original trilogy, and the sequel era stuff, just like Battlefront 2. That amount of content might not be feasible for this game. Perhaps expansions could come down the line for other eras, but I think a good starting point would be the Clone Wars. Do the land battles, do the space battles. There is so much rich content to pull from. When it comes to large-scale battles, that's what we got in the Clone Wars. And the original trilogy we've had so much of in Star Wars games, in and around it. I think most people would probably prefer a Clone Wars era Total War game coming from Creative Assembly. I would really hope this is announced as soon as possible so we have yet another Star Wars game to be excited for and look forward to. Sure, there has been a bunch of cancellations, but again, this is Creative Assembly. They do have a good track record. The Respawn thing wasn't Respawn's own fault, that was EA being EA, and they just decided to cancel a perfectly good game from what we've heard. So yes, of course, no game or developer or whatever is out of the question of being cancelled, but still. This is something I put a little bit more faith in than, say, Star Wars Eclipse or the KOTOR remake. Of course, we don't know what state this game is in. I hope it's going well, and this is going to be very interesting for Creative Assembly. I personally don't play the Total War games, but I love Halo Wars 2. I'm a big Halo fan, and I love both Halo Wars 1 and 2. Halo Wars 2 is just an awesome game, and if I could get that, but Star Wars and ship combat as well, I would be very, very happy, and I can't wait to make more videos on this game. Let me know down in the comment section below any of your thoughts. Are you excited because it's Creative Assembly? Are you excited because it's going to be an RTS in the name of Total War, stuff like that? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts, and remember to drop a like to help support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss any future news updates on this game, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.